What do Arsenal need to get over the line next season? Obviously, there's been a lot of talk of Sesko. We know we're in talks with Sesko at the moment. That's been confirmed. Zubimendi is another one. I think it's pretty much done deal, isn't it? Ozyman, Victor Ozyman. I find it odd with him that no sort of big clubs are going in. You know, where is he? Galatasaray? Is he back at Napoli now? Wasn't he? He was on loan, wasn't he? But no sort of real top clubs are going in for him. There's got to be a reason why, isn't there? Maybe it's his attitude. I think ability-wise, he's a good player, but maybe his attitude stinks a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know with Ozyman. But it looks like Sesko's the one, doesn't it? I know Gyökeres is another one being discussed, isn't it? He's another one of our sort of guys on the list. But Sesko seems to be the main guy at the moment that's kind of got universal backing from the board. I think he's Arteta's number one guy as well. So, but where else do we need to strengthen? I mean, the striker position is obvious, isn't it? We've all known that for years. Where else do we need to strengthen? See, I think left wing needs to be addressed. I don't think Martinelli and Trossard are quite up to it. I think they're decent players, but we could certainly do a lot better. Trossard signing a new deal for me. Not sure why we're doing that. I would have sold him to be honest. Use those funds to bring in somebody a lot better. Obviously, I see a lot of Arsenal fans a bit upset that Bryan Mbeumo's going to Man United. The thing is, he's not going to sit on the bench, is he, at Arsenal? He'd be a squad player at Arsenal. Like, he plays off the right wing. He ain't replacing Saka. Saka's one of the best right wingers in the world. So there's no way that Bryan Mbeumo, you know, he's a good player. He scored 20 goals for Brentford last year. That's an unbelievable return for them. There's no way he's going to sit on Arsenal's bench. Like, he wants to play first team football. That's probably the reason why he's gone to Man United. I'm not sure why he turned down Newcastle as well. That's a bit of an odd one, considering, you know, they're in a much better position than United at the moment. So I'm not sure why he's turned them down. But I can understand why Arsenal have not really followed up their interest and made a concrete offer for him. Doesn't make any sense. Like, it's difficult. You know, when people talk about squad depth, it's actually quite difficult to find players, very, very good players, that are willing to sit on the bench and sort of be a bit part player. It's very, very difficult, especially if they're on massive wages as well. Because I think United have like trebled his wages, haven't they? You know, Arsenal ain't going to go and do that for a player that's going to sit on the bench. So feels like a lot of our fans overcomplicate our striker search in terms of system. Lots of strikers. Yeah, everyone sort of becomes an expert, don't they? You know, half the Arsenal fan base are like, get us Gyökeres. And I think that's purely down to the fact that he scored all those goals last year, because he's got like 50, 60 goals. They just think he's going to come and do that for Arsenal in the Premier League. Well, it doesn't work like that. It's not how it works at all. Like, the Portuguese league is a lot weaker than the Prem. There's nothing to say that he'd come over and score 40, 50, 60 goals. It's not how football works, I'm afraid. You know, and there's nothing to say that Sesko will come and be a success either. You know, 21 goals in the Bundesliga for Leipzig. It's a decent return. He's 22 years of age, but he feels like more potential, doesn't he? Feels like somebody that, you know, is going to take a few years to develop. Now, I might be wrong. He might hit the ground running and be a real success, but he also it might take him time to settle in. So Zubimendi is obviously somebody that is a done deal, which we did need. Obviously, Jorginho's left. Thomas Partey looks like he's going to sign a new deal, but Zubimendi is somebody, you know, that we did need to bring in. I don't think our midfield is quite good enough. I think there's a bit of imbalance in our midfield at the moment. Merino hasn't, you know, as much as Merino was good up front, I don't really fancy him in midfield, to be honest. Like, he's a decent player. You know, he works hard. He's not bad technically. He does score goals, but yeah, I think we definitely need a bit of an upgrade. But we'll have to see. We have to wait and see what Arsenal do. There's a lot of people panicking already. A lot of Arsenal fans panicking about the fact that the transfer window's been open for 2 days and we haven't actually announced the signing yet, or we're not, you know, advanced. You know, obviously Zubimendi's a done deal. We've known that for ages. But people are panicking. Arsenal fans are panicking about the transfer window. Like, calm yourselves down. It's been 2 days. You know, we've probably got another 2 months. I mean, if we haven't signed a striker by August, then yeah, then it is time to panic, and maybe we'll go and get Raheem Sterling back on loan. Who knows? But let's not panic. Let's not panic at the moment. Absolutely pointless. I think this is Arteta's defining season. I have said that, mate. I think it's pivotal for him. I think he's got to go over the line, hasn't he? But it depends what people are happy with. Like, for me personally, I think it's Champions League, Premier League, or it's just not good enough. But there seems to be like this feeling that if he just wins anything, if he just wins any trophy, then that's good enough. But I'm not in that camp. Like, I've seen us win FA Cups, finish fourth, fifth, wherever, and to me, like, yeah, it's great we've won something, but I don't know. It's got to be the Premier League, Champions League, or otherwise, I think things could turn very toxic. I think the noise from the Arteta out army is becoming a lot louder, isn't it, at the moment as well? Now, I'm still like Arteta in more than I am out. Um, but I'm a little bit on the fence. I am starting to question it a bit. You have to, don't you? Like, you have to. We've been sold a lot of dreams and a lot of promises have been made, but nothing's been delivered yet. So, how you doing, mate? How's the baby? Yeah, she's good, mate. She's really good. Sleepless nights, of course, but other than that, she's alright. To be fair, she's not that rowdy. Only when she's hungry or tired, one of the two. But other than that, yeah, she's alright. Facts. Wenger won 4 FA Cups in 4 years in his worst era. I want major trophy. Yeah, that's the thing, mate. I've said this to a lot of Arsenal fans. Like, yeah, it's great to win something, but the novelty wears off after like a day or two, and you just go back to realizing that we're nowhere near where we should be. Like, we should be up there challenging for the title. We should be up there going deep in the Champions League. Like, winning an FA Cup is great, but it just papers over the cracks, doesn't it? Like it has done at United. You know, Tottenham fans at the moment are obviously on cloud nine. They've won the Europa League, but again, it's just papering over the cracks of how bad their season was. Like, yeah, great, you won a trophy, fabulous, but you finished 17th and you lost 22 games, and then Lord and Postecoglou was like some sort of genius. You know, like, come off it, like, get real, get in the real world, and he's about to get sacked, which just kind of proves the point, doesn't it? That trophies are not the be all end all. You know, and a lot of clubs, especially the owners, the board of directors, they see league position and league form as something probably a little bit more important than winning something shiny at the end of the season. You want to be up there, especially the bigger clubs. Like, there's no way Chelsea fans are more happy about winning the Conference League than they are qualifying for the Champions League next season. Just absolutely no way. Yeah, it's great they won something, but I'm telling you right now, they're going to celebrate more getting back in the Champions League than they are the Conference League. So trophies are not everything, fellas. Trophies are not everything. Why does it take so long for Arsenal to get transferred? We've been like that for as long as I can remember, mate. We're notoriously slow in the transfer window. I don't know why. I mean, I know it's obviously early days. Like I said, it's only the 2nd of June. You know, the transfer window has only been open for like 2 days. But we are notoriously slow. And we were like that last summer, weren't we? They said they were prioritising an attacker, realised they were running out of time, spent the whole window chasing Marino and Calafiori, probably 2 players that we didn't necessarily need. I mean, Marino probably more so, but we didn't know we were going to get all those injuries. Calafiori has barely played. Did we really need him? Probably not. Like, considering we had Zinchenko, obviously we didn't know Lewis Skelly was going to come through, but we did have Tierney as well. So, you know, we had like 3 left backs at the club. Did we really need him? And he's barely played, and we spent all the window chasing these players. You know, didn't prioritise the attack. Got to the last week of the transfer window, panicked, completely panicked because there was no one available, and went and signed Raheem Sterling on loan, who was about as useful as I would have been, to be quite honest. Do you know what I mean? So let's hope we don't see a repeat of it this year. Surely they don't make the same mistakes again. Like, obviously we know there's concrete talks with Sesko. We know that's happening. Whether or not they come to an agreement, who knows? But they've got to strengthen that front line. They've got to. But I've been saying this for 3 years. Even when, you know, everyone was fit, Saka, Martinelli, Havertz, and they were banging in goals and everyone was loving it and we're blowing teams off the park. Even then, I knew we weren't good enough going forward, because there were just certain games where we come up against difficult opposition that had everyone behind the ball, and we just couldn't find a way to win those games, and that ultimately cost us the title, didn't it? You look at Villa, you know, when we lost at home to them, West Ham at home, some of the draws we've had over the past few years, that's where we've lost the title. Our inability to break teams down who are sticking everyone behind the ball, and there's not much space to get in behind, and you're only creating maybe 1 or 2 chances in that game, or 3 chances, whatever, and you don't take them, and that's the difference. That is the difference. But for some reason, Arsenal and Arteta haven't been able to figure that out for the last 3 years, and I don't really know why. And I think obviously it's got to the point now where the fans are putting a lot of pressure on the club to go and sign and strengthen that attack. So that's where it seems the focus is for this window. But same for 3 years. I said Jesus was never going to win us the title. We need a number 9. Jesus was brilliant when he first come in, wasn't he? Those first sort of 3 months, I thought he was electric. Then he got that real bad knee injury, and he's just never been the same, as he's never recovered, and then it's just been injury after injury, setback after setback. But like you say, mate, he's not a natural goal scorer, is he? Like, he's a good player. His link up play is really good. You know, he's pretty skillful. He can go past people, but his finishing is just not good enough. And you know, people can slate players like Haaland, you know, because of his ability on the ball. But at the end of the day, that guy scores you 30, 40 goals a season. He wins you titles, doesn't he? And that's the difference. How many times do we see Saka, Martinelli get to the dead ball line, put the ball across the 6-yard box? There's no one there. There's no one there. And that's because we don't have an instinctive number 9 who knows the positions to take up in the box and sort of gets a feel of where the ball's going to land, or where the ball's going to, you know, when the ball's going to come across, and the positions that he needs to be in to put it away. We just don't have that. The amount of times I see balls get put up across the 6-yard box, and you see whoever, Havertz, Odegaard, whoever it is, they're standing on the 18-yard box or on the penalty spot. They're nowhere near it. They just haven't. There's no anticipation whatsoever. That's what we're missing. That is 100% what we're missing. Sesko is not the man to win it. We don't know that, mate. We don't know. Nobody can say whether he's going to come in and be a success. We can't say if he's going to be brilliant. We can't say if he's going to be bad. We just don't know. You know, he might hit the ground running. He might get off, make a great start to his Arsenal career if he joins. You know, it's not like it's a done deal. And I think there's other clubs as well that are floating around in the background to see what happens. But I do think Arsenal are front runners for him. But we just don't know how good he's going to be. You know, we could have said the same things about Dennis Bergkamp and Henry back in the day. When Bergkamp first joined the club, I don't think he scored in his first sort of like 10 games, sort of 8 to 10 games. And fans were singing like, what a waste of money at Dennis Bergkamp. Henry was struggling at Juventus. Yeah, he struggled in his first few games at Arsenal, and then he got a couple, and then that was it. You know, he never sort of looked back. So can't really write a player off before he's even joined the club. Arsenal should get both Gyökeres, is it Gyökeres? Is that how you pronounce it? And Sesko, since Gyökeres can play on the left. I mean, it would be an ideal world. I don't see that happening, mate. I don't see Arsenal splashing out 150, 60 million on 2 forwards. I mean, I would love it. I think we all would love it, wouldn't we? But because then you've almost got that versatility, haven't you, across your front line, where players can take up different positions, which will cause overloads in certain positions on the pitch as well, which makes life very difficult for the opposition. I don't think we'll sign both. I think it's one or the other. Really love your vid of your fan base. It's bonkers that, mate, it's just crazy out there at the moment. Like, Arsenal fans, to just, like I said yesterday, I did a video yesterday, like, they're always trying to justify, whenever Arsenal lose, that, we were unlucky, or we were the better side, or we should have won that game, we created all these chances. It's just always something, and it's like, just let it go, leave it alone. They make us look like idiots. They make the rest of us look really bad. And this is why rival fans like have a dig at us all the time, because there's loads of our fans that just can't seem to accept defeat, or accept that we just weren't good enough. Like, it's not difficult. You know, you're never going to win every game. You know what I mean? You're never going to win every game. Football's as much about winning as it is about losing. Took Henry 2 years to settle with us. Whoever comes in deserves a chance to prove themselves. Absolutely spot on, mate. Absolutely spot on, Rob. But you don't seem to get that these days, do you? There's such impatience now. I think it's the money is the problem. I think because they get signed for these massive amounts of money, fans just have no patience for it. And, you know, you see like even players that were signed this year, they have like, you know, they'll start off maybe a little bit slow, 3 or 4 bad games, and people are on their back already, and it's crazy. You know, you've come from a different league, a different country, different style of football, different pace to the game, completely different culture. And people are writing them off after like 3 or 4 games. Like, it's just mental. That's the world we live in. It's absolutely crazy. If we don't sign any attacking players that can make a difference, where do you see us finishing? Depends, really, because it is important to remember, when our front three is fit and firing, they're still very good. You know, when Martinelli, Havertz and Saka are on their game, they will score goals, 100%. Last year was obviously very difficult in terms of trying to gain any momentum or fluidity, because we're just constantly facing players that are out for a long period of time. Havertz was out, 3-4 months. Saka was out 4 months. Odegaard was out for 3 months. Martinelli was out for a month. it was very difficult for us to sort of build any momentum during that season whatsoever, because it was just setback after setback. And it is important to remember that the season before, when all three of them were fit for the whole season, we were blowing teams off the pitch. So just because, you know, if we don't sign an attacker, like, it's not the end of the world. I still think, like, obviously we all know that we're not good enough going forward. Where do I see us finishing if we don't sign anyone? Probably top four, mate. Top four would probably be my bet again, but that's not good enough, is it? That's the thing, isn't it? That's not good enough. I saw like this video the other day from some Arsenal fans. They're all on a live together. Some of them are on Arsenal Fan TV, and they were saying that they would rather drop down to the Europa League, so we have a better chance of winning something. And these are the same fans that were moaning every year that we finished fourth and qualify for the Champions League, but they'd rather we drop down to the Europa League and have it because it would give us a better chance of winning something. Like, what is going on? Like, our fan base is absolutely mental. Like, I think they've lost their heads. I think Tottenham winning something this year has made Arsenal fans just like lose their minds. Do you know what I mean? Completely, and they're just so desperate to just win anything. Like winning a FA Cup and finishing 10th, or winning a Europa League and finishing 17th. I wouldn't really brag about that personally. Like, honestly, I wouldn't. Like, I'd be a little bit embarrassed to try and sort of glaze that over rival fans. That's just me. Like, when Arteta won the FA Cup, right, after 6 months, and we finished 8th, like, you wouldn't see me online coming here and trying to sort of throw it down the throats of our rival fans that finished 2nd or 3rd or 4th in the league. Like, I just wouldn't do it. Like, to me, it's just, I don't know, like, have some standards. It's a little bit embarrassing. Arsenal need 4 big signings to compete for the champs and the league. Yeah, 100%, mate. Where do you think we need to sign though? Left wing, I think it's got to be a priority. Striker is a priority for me. Obviously, Zubimendi coming in midfield is going to bolster that. Where else do you think we need to strengthen? Sane is a name because he's on a freebie, isn't he? Good player, don't get me wrong. Plenty of experience, been there, done it, got the t-shirt. Is he as good as he used to be? That's my issue with him. Be a good squad player, wouldn't he? Do we think we need a squad player though? That's the thing here, isn't it? Or do we want, a proper strong left wing footballer who's going to add another, different dimension to our game? I don't know. I don't see Sane starting every week. That's my issue. I think he's more of a player that is a bit of a backup. I don't think we need that personally. I think we've got enough backup. We've got one area, haven't we? We've got Trossard. We've got Martinelli there. I don't think we need a backup. I think we need a bit of a superstar. Sane will be like Sterling. There's that possibility, isn't he? He's certainly not the player he was, at Man City. But Nico Williams, Rodrigo, I don't think will happen, mate. I don't think Rodrigo will happen. Nico Williams, apparently his wages are through the roof. Apparently wants 300 grand. But then again, we are paying Havertz like close to that sort of money. But please keep Sterling. No, we sent him back, mate, and we won't be signing him. Thank God. He was just terrible, weren't he? Never seen anything like it. It's like he's forgotten how to play football. His confidence is absolutely shot to bits. Like, he's one of the worst signings Arsenal have ever made. And I've seen some bad ones over the years. Why are we not going in for Ryan Cherky? I don't know, mate. Look like City are getting him, don't they? I mean, Liverpool even were sniffing around him as well, but they look like they're getting Wirtz, don't they? Again, I don't know too much about players that play abroad. I don't watch any European football. I watch the Premier League. I watch the Champions League. I mean, I saw Cherky play for Lyon against Man United, and he looks like he's got a little bit about him, but that's one game, so I'm not going to make a judgment on a player after watching one game. Sterling is truly one of the worst Arsenal players of all time. Yeah, 100%, mate. Awful. I've seen some terrible players at Arsenal, but he was just shambolic. Rodrigo, I don't think we'll get it, mate. I think he's already come out and said that he wants to stay and fight for his place at Real Madrid, and I think Xabi Alonso wants to keep him as well. So I don't see that one happening. Do you know who I've always wanted at Arsenal? And I've said this for a few years now. Is Jarrod Bowen. I would take Bowen all day, but I think he really likes it at West Ham. but I think he could do a really good job for us. He's versatile, can play across the whole front three, scores goals, doesn't he? His goal return for West Ham over the past few seasons, considering how bad they've been, is actually really, really good. But I think he's pretty happy at West Ham, isn't he? And I don't know. I just find it odd that no one's really gone in for him or even tried to sign Bowen. I think he's a very, very good player, but absolutely decisive season for Arteta. It's got to be, isn't it? Arteta out. I'm not Arteta out, mate, but it is a decisive season. It's pivotal. It is absolutely pivotal that we get over the line this year. There's no excuse. As you know, if the board really back him, if they throw money at attacking signings and they bring in Sesko, maybe if they bring in a Nico Williams, whoever, if they provide him with those players, then there's no excuse really. There's no excuse for Arsenal not to win something major. Do you know what I mean? Like this year, there is context to our season this year. There was a lot of red cards, some of which were absolutely just shambolic in my opinion. There's been a lot of injuries. It's been a real stop-start type of season, and we've done all right considering all those setbacks. I think we've done okay, but again, finishing the season trophyless, questions have to be asked, don't they? That's it. Do you know what I mean? United moving crazy. I mean, yeah, and Mbeumo, he's a good player. 20 goals for Brentford. Can he replicate that for United? I don't know. I think we need to remember that Brentford are actually a better team than United. Like, not all right, they're not a bigger club, but they're a better team. Do you know what I mean? Right now, they're a better side. So they play better football than Man United. Would he replicate that form? I'm not so sure. I don't know. Decent player, but we'll see. Cunha, again, good return for Wolves, considering they were right near the bottom. But I have seen something that I would be quite worried about. Apparently, he covered the least amount of distance of any player in the Premier League last year. So no doubt he's good on the ball, but off the ball, not great. And I think United need players that are going to work hard and give everything for the club, rather than players that are, that catch the eye when they have them when they're on the ball. But it's bringing number 21. Good signing, mate. No doubt about that. Haven't seen too much of him. Like I said, I don't watch a lot of European football, but the money being quoted, he's obviously got something about him. So poor sportsman as well, Cunha. Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. Like I say, good on the ball. He'll score goals, but seems like he's a bit lazy. Who have we signed? Well, I think Zubimendi is a done deal. I think we're just waiting confirmation. I've heard something like Sociedad don't want Arsenal to sort of announce it until July. I don't know if it's true. Something to do with their accountants or something to do with that. I don't know, but I don't know if that's true. Love content, bro. Bruno Stan. Bruno, you got to give it to him, haven't you? Got to give him his flowers. He had a massive contract offer on the table, £100 million transfer fee or something like that. His contract was huge, and he said, "You know what? I'd rather stay here and play elite level football." Fair play to the guy. I mean, that's the sort of attitude you want, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? He could easily have gone there for the money. Nice little retirement fund. Played against farmers over there, crap level of football, and just sit out the rest of his career and just gone, yeah, cheers. But he's chose to stay. Fair play to him. Sesko or Gyökeres? I was always Gyökeres, mate. I'm going to be honest. I was always Gyökeres in that camp. Not because I think he's going to come over here and tear the Premier League up, score 50, 60 goals. I just feel like we need somebody who's ready now, who, comes in, hit the ground running. Absolutely prolific goal scorer, proven that he's a prolific goal scorer. Sesko's more potential, isn't he? That's my issue with it. I'm not saying that Sesko couldn't come in and bang in 20 odd goals for us. He scored 21 goals in all competitions for Leipzig. He could. But it just feels like Sesko's the ready man, isn't he, to come in and score 25, 30 goals. That's how I look at it. But again, I'm nothing to do with the club, so whatever decision they make, I'll back it. If it's Sesko, then I'll get behind it and hope that he does really well. If it's Gyökeres, I'm the same with him. I'm not really like in one camp. I don't really split myself. I'm just more, I just want the best for Arsenal Football Club. I'm not somebody that really gets attached to the players or the manager or anything like that. Like, I don't really care who's in charge of Arsenal. Some people might think I do because I come on and defend Arteta quite a lot. I don't really care who's the manager. I never really have. I didn't really care when it was Wenger. Didn't really care when it was Emery. I'm just not that way. I'm just not built that way. I don't really care what players we bring in, as long as Arsenal are competing at the top, Champions League, stuff like that's what I care about, and you know, pushing to get over the line. I want to see us win Premier League titles. I don't really care who the captain is of Arsenal, who lifts the trophy. I just want to see it happen, you know. So you've not been on for a while, but then again, Arsenal bottled it again. Well, I've had a lot going on, mate. I've had a lot going on. I haven't been shying away. Just a little bit what's been happening in my personal life. I just had a baby 3 weeks ago, little girl. She's doing really well. I got made redundant from my job. A few of you do know I lost my job in February, but I'm back working again. So I've had a lot going on, and to be honest, I just lost all sort of interest in social media. So I just stayed away, probably for the best, you know, seeing as Arsenal flopped massively towards the end of the season. Again, thanks guys. Yeah, she's doing really well. She's beautiful, absolutely amazing, to be honest. But tiring. It's very tiring. There's been a few sleepless nights already, but yeah, she's doing good. She's really good. So, and we were in hospital for 5 days as well, which was a bit of a pain in the ass. But you know, she's all healthy. That's the main thing. We need a left winger so bad. Yeah, it's a left winger and a striker, isn't it? Martinelli and Trossard. Martinelli, I had such high hopes for him. You know, there was a point where I thought his ceiling was higher than Saka's. I really did. I thought the potential of the guy was unlimited. But he just hasn't got any better. He just hasn't improved. He's the same player that he was 3 years ago. And that's the problem. Saka has taken his game to a different level. Martinelli is the same. Trossard, I like Trossard, don't get me wrong. Comes up with decent moments, but that's all he is. He comes up with a decent goal every now and again. Do you know what I mean? Other than that, doesn't really offer too much. If I'm being honest, he's a bit lightweight as well. He's not physical enough. So I would have sold him, Trossard. He's 31 now, and we've offered him a new contract. I think he signed a new deal. I think he signed another couple of years. I mean, yeah, right. We need the squad depth, but if you've got players there that are not really offering too much and not really having an impact, why would you keep them? You know, I struggle to defend Martinelli now. He's frustrating to watch at times. He's too one-dimensional, Rob. That's the problem with him. He's one of the most un-Brazilian players I've ever seen. Like, where are the stepovers? Where are the tricks? Where's the samba magic that you expect from Brazilian players? He just knocks it and runs and just thinks that's enough to get past people. He just relies on his pace to get past people. But the problem is these fullbacks these days are absolutely electric, so they can stay with him. He just doesn't have those tricks in his locker to get past people. Like when he first come onto the scene, obviously he was a bit of an unknown quantity and people didn't know how to defend against him. Now they do. You know, you've got to remember that these teams are studying video after video after video, working out ways to stop whoever's front three they're up against. That's what they do. So unless you adapt and evolve your game, you're just going to get found out. And that's exactly what's happened to Martinelli. It's sad, because like I said, I thought he was going to, you know, go on and be a world-class player. And he still might. I don't see it. I think he's hit his level, and I just don't really see him getting any better. We'll see. You never know. You never know. We need a pacey forward like PSG, ball striking outside the box. Yeah, we don't. That's definitely something we lack, don't we? We don't take enough shots, you know, from 25, 30 yards. The only one this season that really does it is probably Rice. Declan Rice is probably one that will do it every now and again, but as a front line in general, we just don't do it enough, do we? Whatsoever. That's something that we do lack. But like I touched on earlier, we definitely lack that instinctive number 9 in the box. You know, like an Ian Wright, that sort of striker. You know, he's always in the right place. That's what we lack. I said this earlier, like the amount of times that Martinelli and Saka, they get to the dead ball line, they do really well to get past their fullback. They stick it across the box, you know, brilliant ball across the 6-yard box. There's no one there, and you're just like, where's our front line? Where's our striker? And they're standing on the penalty spot, and that's because they don't have the instinct to get in there and sniff out a chance. We have no strikers at this football club that sniff out opportunities. They want the ball to land on their foot, basically, or on their head. You know, and you can't have that. You just can't have that when you're putting balls across the box. People need to be getting in there. I was always really good at sniffing out chances as a player, all the time. Do you know what I mean? Flick-ons, balls landing. I just had that knack about me to be in the right place. And that's what we need. We need a right place, right time, like Haaland, mate. People, like I say, people slag off Haaland for his ability, you know, on the ball. He doesn't give you much on the ball, but he's always in the right place at the right time, isn't he? So, you know, Mo Salah's another one, isn't he? He's always there. He just knows where to be, and that's what win you titles. So yeah, it's an important summer. It's very, very important that Arsenal get their transfer business correct. They've got to get it spot on. There's no excuses. There's no excuses. We made a lot of money last year from the Champions League, finished second in the Premier League. We've made a lot of money. The funds are there. Go out, get the players that Arteta needs, and win the league. Go and win the league. You can have Nunes if you want. I actually like him, mate, and I don't know why. I think it's because he's quite chaotic. Like, he causes a lot of problems for defenders, but his finishing is absolutely dreadful, unfortunately. Which, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I quite like him. I quite like his movement off the ball. I quite like his runs in behind. He's a bit of a nuisance, but he's just let down by the most important part of being a striker, which is sticking the ball in the back of the net, unfortunately. And as we all know, strikers are judged on goals, aren't they? You're not judged on anything else. So you can be a wonderful player off the ball, but unless you stick the ball back into the back of the net consistently, you're going to get criticised. It's a bit like Jesus, isn't he? You know, Jesus is wonderful on the ball. He's wonderful to watch. He'll go past people. He's got step overs. He's got tricks. His link up play is excellent, but his finishing is abysmal, and that's why he's criticised. But that's what strikers are judged on, isn't it? That's why Haaland gets criticised for his ability on the ball, but then praised to high heaven for his finishing. But you can't win. This is the problem. You can't win these days, you know. So hope he does good. Yeah, I like Jesus. I've actually said on numerous occasions that when him and Zinchenko first joined the club, they completely raised the bar. Not just like the level that we were playing at, but the mentality within the squad. And I think that was the most important thing. They made that team believe that they were good enough to go and challenge Man City for the title. Like, we finished 5th the season before. We signed them to, and then, you know, we probably should have won the league. And I think a lot of that was down to them in the dressing room and bringing that belief within the squad that they were good enough to go and win the league. And that's really important to have those type of players in and around the club, because they've been there, done that, haven't they? Got the T-shirt. Do you know what I mean? They've won a lot of trophies at Man City. But unfortunately, it just hasn't quite worked out. Like, I think Zinchenko will be off in the summer. I think if we get a suitable offer, I think they'll let him go. And Jesus is obviously injured, so no one's going to be buying him, which could be a problem for us, couldn't it? In terms of how many attackers we can actually sign. Because if he was fit, Jesus, we could have shipped him out the door, probably brought in a few more attacking options. But him being injured, that ain't going to happen. So Jesus, very underrated. He's a good player, mate. Like I said, very good on the ball. Eye-catching, brilliant to watch at times. He can go past players when they're not there. He's got tricks. He's got that little bit of Brazilian samba magic about him. But his finishing, it lets him down. It really does. Probably put in January. Yeah, 100%, mate. Probably could sell him in January, 100%. Do you think Berta will help push us in the right direction? You would hope so, wouldn't you? You would hope so. I mean, he has been a part of a lot of big deals over the years, hasn't he? I think he was there with what's his name, João Felix, even though he's not really turned out to be very good. But he has had his hand in a lot of big deals with a lot of big profiles. So hopefully he can do the same for us. But we'll see, won't we? We'll see. You know, it's funny as well, because you get these Arsenal fans that seem to think that Berta is the guy that's like driving the players that we're targeting. That's not his job. His job is to recruit the players. He'll be given a list of names to go after. It's more down to our scouting network and Arteta, who are obviously viewing all the video footage and have gone to watch them personally. They're the guys that make the decisions about the players, you know, that they want to bring in. They then they'll give that list to the board, who will approve certain players, and others will get scratched off. And then it's Berta's job to go and recruit the ones that we prioritise. That's what he's there to do. He's not there as a scout. That's not his job. He's there to bring the players in. Sesko or Gyökeres? I was always Gyökeres, mate. Purely down to the fact that I think we need a player that is ready now. I see Sesko more as potential, somebody that will, you know, blossom in a couple of years, whereas Gyökeres is ready now. And I think he would be the guy that would get us more goals. I mean, he's been prolific for Lisbon. There's no reason, you know, to think that he would come over and you know, absolutely tear up the Premier League and tear trees up and set the world alight. I don't think he would. But I do think he would get Arsenal 25, 30 goals. That's what I believe. I think Sesko would be someone who would probably grab a sort of 15, 15 to 20 goals, but those extra 10, 15 goals from a Gyökeres can make all the difference, you know, in winning the league or winning a Champions League. But that's how I see it. But it depends on obviously what the club feel. And the club, I get the sense that Arsenal are prioritising Sesko. That's the guy I feel like they really want. Whether we'll get that deal over the line, but then Gyökeres I think is cheaper as well. I think he's the cheaper option. So we'll just have to see. I mean, they are in talks with both of them. That's been said. So we'll have to just wait and see, won't we? But we've got to get this transfer window right. That's so important. Got to get those attacking reinforcements in the door. 100%. We can't be messing around. We can't be getting to August and panicking and then making some stupid shit loan fucking signing like Sterling or whoever again. Get this squad sorted before pre-season. Get them playing together. Get them building those partnerships, within the team, and have us ready for the start of the season. We were not ready last year whatsoever, and it showed. It showed in our form. We pretty much lost the title before Christmas, and that is some of that is down to poor planning during the transfer window. You have 3 months or whatever it is, 2-3 months to get the players you need in the door, and we spent half our window chasing Calafiori, who has barely had any impact because he spent most of the season on the sidelines, and Mikel Merino, who turned into a striker that did okay, but as a midfielder, I think we can do a lot better. Who's winning the Club World Cup? Ooh, I don't know, to be honest, mate. There's a lot of good teams in there, isn't there? So, I don't know. Xavi Simons. Yeah, he's one that, he's at Leipzig as well. We're talking to Sesko. Why not throw his name in there as well? Who do you want? Who do I want this summer? I want Gyökeres. I would want Gyökeres. I would also want Bowen, but I know we're not going to get Bowen. I would take Bowen at Arsenal all day. Look, if Nico Williams is the guy that Arsenal want, then you have to get behind it, don't you? That's the thing. Semenyo as well. Is it Semenyo? Semenyo? Can't even say his name. The geezer at Bournemouth. He's another one. He's another one that Arsenal should be looking at. But Sane, I know why they're doing it, because he represents, obviously, a decent bit of business. But he's just not that player anymore for me. There's a reason why big clubs like Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, whoever, there's a reason why they let these types of players go. Do you know what I mean? Teams like that don't let their best players go. They just don't. It's as simple as that. So I would stay away from Sane. I mean, he'd be a decent squad signing, I suppose, but he's not really somebody that's going to get the fans excited. Gyökeres over Sesko all day. Yeah, I just think we need somebody that's ready now, mate. Sesko is more potential for me. Gyökeres is ready to come into this Arsenal side, hit the ground running, and just start banging in goals. So that's where my sort of heart is, but I think they're prioritising Sesko. But we'll have to see. I mean, wouldn't it be great if we bought him both? Thoughts on Wirtz to Liverpool? I've not really watched him, mate. I mean, it's a lot of money. I know they've had 2 bids turned down. I think Leverkusen want close to 150 million euros, which is a lot of money. So, and if Liverpool are willing to pay that, they obviously feel that he's somebody that can add a different dimension to their front line. So I would, I can sit here and confidently say that he's probably a very, very good player. I just don't watch European football. I watch the Premier League. I mean, I've seen him play, obviously, for Leverkusen, Champions League in Europe and things like that, and international scene and all that. I've seen him play. But when you've only sort of watched somebody a handful of times, it's really difficult to judge how good they are. And I wouldn't want to criticise him or praise him to high heel, because I just don't know. If Gyökeres is getting about 40 goals at Sporting, he could definitely get 25 in the Prem. Yeah, that's what I think, mate. 25, 30 goals in the Prem is realistic. I don't expect him to come here and do what he's done at Sporting and score 50, 60 goals, because the Premier League is a far more competitive, environment to play in. But 25, 30 goals, if you add in what Saka will bring as well, Martinelli can bring, Havertz. I mean, all right, people slag Havertz off at Arsenal. A lot of Arsenal fans don't like Havertz, but reality is he actually does all right up front. Rice can get you goals from midfield. Odegaard can get you goals from midfield. If this firing and it really takes off, Arsenal, Gyökeres scoring 25, 30 goals, that's enough to get you over the line. Whereas Sesko, I think it would be in the region of 15 to 20 goals, which might not be enough. Leipzig fans don't rate Sesko that much. Arsenal fan glaze him so much. I think every fan base, as soon as they're linked with a player or there's sort of concrete talks taking place and there's a very good chance you're going to sign him, I think every fan base really starts rating and praising them to high heel. I've seen United fans, ramming it down. Arsenal fans' throats and Newcastle fans' throats that they've signed in Bremo and they're this massive club and, you know, the Paul's still there, which, all right, yeah, cool. You know, you're Man United, you're always going to have Paul, but we are talking about a guy that plays for Brentford. You know, I don't want to be disrespectful. He's a good player and he scored 20 goals for him, which is a fantastic return, but they're signing players from Brentford and Wolves. I mean, Man United used to be signing the best players in the world. Now they're signing players from mid-table clubs or clubs that are scrapping relegation. Like, fine, if that makes you happy, fine. But yeah, I don't know. I like Thuram at United, swapping with Højlund. Inter want him. Højlund's been dreadful, isn't he? Do you think Thuram would leave Inter though? I don't think he would. We need a striker, proven one. 100%, mate. Like, when was the last time we had like a real world-class striker? Aubameyang? Probably first couple of seasons. Then he fell off a cliff. Before that was probably Sanchez, but was he really a striker? Wasn't really a striker, was he? And then before that, you're probably talking about Van Persie. Like, Arsene Wenger always knew that a world-class striker won you trophies. He knew that. Whereas Arteta hasn't really addressed that problem. Yeah, he sorted out our back four. I mean, our back four was terrible. And he has sorted that out fine. And, you know, we're one of the best teams defensively in Europe. But going forward is where the problems are. And it's been the same problems for 3 seasons. We don't have enough going forward in certain games against certain types of opposition. You know, as soon as teams set up, very difficult to play against us, not much space in behind, it's very congested. We just run out of ideas. We just lack creativity to be able to break those sort of teams down. And that's where a prolific number 9, who only needs 1 or 2 chances to stick the ball in the back of the net, is what gets you over the line and wins your Premier League titles. But we'll see, won't we? We'll see what they do, fellas. We will have an advantage to start the season because City and Chelsea play. It's not a bad point, mate. Club World Cup coming up. I don't know how long the competition is. How long is it? What is it? 2-3 weeks? 2 weeks? I don't know how long it is. I mean, when's it starting? It starts. And I know there's an international break coming up. Hello, Jim Goon. How you doing, mate? How you doing? I know there's an international break coming up, but I don't know when the World Club Championship starts. It must be a few weeks' time. 4 weeks. What, it lasts for 4 weeks? Bloody hell, that's tiring, isn't it? And then they'll be pretty much reporting back for pre-season. So, look, what? They're going to get like a week's holiday? That's crazy, isn't it, to be fair? To laugh at Man United. I've done a lot of laughing at Man United lately, mate. I think I'm laughed out, to be honest, at the moment. Zubizarreta, Gyökeres. I really like Gittins or Rodrigo. Gittins, he's another one. I've not seen him play, mate. I don't watch a lot of football abroad. I don't watch any football abroad. Don't watch any European football. I see these players in Europe, Champions League and things like that. But it's difficult, isn't it, to gauge someone if you're watching them like once or twice a season. Gyökeres for me, not Sesko. Yeah, I'm the same, mate. I'm the same. I think he's somebody that's ready, isn't he? He's ready now to come in and start banging in goals. I see like Arsenal fans complaining that he's 27. 27? I'm like, that's your prime? That's your prime years? Like 27 to probably like 30, 31 is like your prime years. So I don't really understand that one. Bit of a weird one. Rodrigo seems unrealistic at the moment. Vimy also only got 11 goal involvements from Madrid. Yeah, but his game times have been limited, isn't he? And that's why he's a little bit upset. You know, when you're upset, I don't think you always give your all. I think he wants to play more, doesn't he? But obviously with Vinicius and Mbappe, Bellingham, you know, competition for places at Madrid, like it should be, is pretty fierce. Arteta's last chance this season. Could be, mate. Could well be. Could well be. But there, you know, it depends what you're happy with. Would Arsenal fans be happy with top 4 and an FA Cup? Would you then be like, all right, maybe you should stay? Or is it win a Champions League or the Premier League or just leave? So it depends what people want, isn't it? Do we just want a trophy just so we can say, oh, well, we've won something and we can brag about it? Or do we want the big major honours? Because I've been there when we've won FA Cups, top 4, and got top 4, and it did very little for me. I'm going to be honest. Like, I knew we would finish top 4 every season. When we're at that sort of 10-year period of Arsene Wenger where we just finished 4th every season and then won the odd FA Cup, like, it didn't really do anything for me. I'll be honest. I was just like, yeah, great. Yeah, we won the FA Cup. We finished 4th again. 30 points off the team that won it. We're miles behind these sides, and it's just getting worse and worse. And it did get worse and worse. And, you know, Emery come in, we finished 5th, 8th with Arteta, 8th again with Arteta. and it was crap, wasn't it? Like, it was rubbish. So, what do your parents think about you being sorry? That's a bit rude. And what's wrong with being like that anyway? That's a bit of a weird thing to say. Maybe you should just get blocked. Maybe you should get blocked, not pay 90 million. Destiny. What are you on about, my man? What are you on about? Bloody hell, there's a few people in here, isn't there, fellas? What's going on? But I'm going to have to disappear soon, fellas, because I'm going to need some lunch, and I'm probably going to have to take the baby off my wife. So, call me mad, but I think Rashford would be quality at Arsenal under Teta. It's not a bad shout, mate, is it? He's always had the ability, Rashford, isn't he? He's got the ability. And he has those moments where you're like, oh my God. Like, there's just, he every now and again, he does things that I'm like, that's outrageous. But there's just no consistency with him. And he's just been such a purple patch player for such a long time. I think that's everyone's problem with him, isn't it? He'll go 10, 15 games where he's like one of the best players on the planet. But then he'll go like 40 games where you're like, is he here? Is he there? Is he a League Two player? Like, what's happened? He's such a up and down. Like, his confidence is just so like up and down all the time. It's very odd. Very, very odd player. But like I said, the ability's always been there. He just lets himself down with the consistency. But that's the most difficult thing in football, isn't it? That is the most difficult thing, is putting that run of games together and just staying at that level. That's why you have to give a lot of credit to these players that do that, like Salah, like De Bruyne, just season after season after season, you know, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. You know, you have to give them credit. You have to give them a lot of credit. Would you take Rashford over Martinelli? Yeah, probably. I like Martinelli, and like I said, I always had such high hopes for him. I really thought he was going to be a phenomenal football player, but he just hasn't improved. He just hasn't got any better. You know, that season a couple of years ago when he scored sort of, you know, close to 20 goals, I think he had over 20 goal involvements. It seems like a real long distant memory, doesn't it? And he hasn't hit anywhere near that since. So I think there's gonna, you know, time is running out for that guy. It's either next few seasons he takes his game to a different level, takes it up a notch, which I don't think he's capable of. I don't think he's got the footballing intelligence to do that. Or I think his time at Arsenal could come to an end, because there's only so long, isn't there? There's only so long that you can keep the faith in a player, and that was Arsenal's biggest problem for years under Wenger. Just too much confidence in players that just never got any better. You know, he kept on thinking, oh, they'll come good, and he kept telling us, didn't he? They'll come good, and they never did. You know, they were good players, but they weren't top draws. So depends, doesn't it? Depends on, you know, it's down to the player himself. Do you know what I mean? How much do you want it? You know, and that's where mentality comes in. How much do you want to take your game to a different level? How much do you want to become one of the best players in the world in your position, and now that starting position at Arsenal Football Club? How much do you want it? Don't want it enough, you know, it's never going to happen. But we'll have to see. Right, anyway, guys, I'm going to disappear, go and get something to eat. Probably have to hold me bub for a bit, and I'll speak to you all soon. But if you're not following, drop us a follow, guys, all right? Laters.